Well, hi there. If you want to know the secret behind ads that actually sell, in this episode 4 of AdLabs with me, Vera Phoebe, we are breaking down David Ogilvy's legendary 38 rules for creating advertising that actually sell. The same strategies that build billion-dollar brands. And here's the thing, they still work today. I'll show you exactly how these timeless principles apply to Facebook, TikTok, Google Ads, and influencer marketing, plus real examples from right here in Kenya. Whether you're running a small boutique in Nairobi or managing a multinational brand or just starting out with your first campaign, these rules will change how you think about advertising forever. Don't waste another shilling on ads that flop. Tune into episode 4 of AdLabs and start creating campaigns that actually work. And today we are diving into one of the most legendary advertising guides ever written by one and only David Ogilvy. And the title of the article is How to Create Advertising That Sells. This isn't just a vintage advice from the Mad Men era. It is actually a timeless playbook that still shapes the billion-dollar campaigns that we see today. Whether you're running ads for a small Nairobi boutique or you have a global tech startup or anything in between, these principles still work if you know how to adapt them. So let's break them down word for word, and then I'll translate them into today's marketing reality and how you can now use these principles in your business today. Well, let's dive into the article, How to Create Advertising That Sells by David Ogilvy. Ogilvy and Martha has created over $1.4 billion worth of advertising and spent around $49 million tracking the results. Here, with all the dogmatism of brevity, here are the 38 things that we have learned. Number 1, the most important decision we have learned is that the effect of your advertising on your sales depend more on this decision than any other. How should you position your product? Should you position Schweppes as a soft drink or as a mixer? So the first thing is positioning. When you're trying to come up with advertisement for or whatever you're selling as a service, always understand, what are you positioning your product as? Is it a problem solver for a particular case, pain point that the consumer is undergoing? Or rather, are you positioning it as this is your go-to to solve this particular problem? So the number one thing that you really need to understand is, how are you guys positioning yourself? And it also always comes clear in your brand statement. So if you have that direction, then when you're advertising your particular brand product in your marketing, always understand, how are you positioning? And this is such a good example. If you're selling Schweppes, are you going to position it as a soft drink or as a mixer? Both of these have consequences in terms of which audience that is going to appeal to. Of course, the mixer is going to appeal to the alcoholics, and as a soft drink is going to appeal to a larger audience. Number 2, what is your large promise? The second most important decision is what you promise. The more specific your promise is, the more persuasive it will be. So if you promise a benefit which is unique and important, you're likely to sell your product. So after understanding the positioning of your product, is it a drink or a mixer, the next step is you really need to understand, what is that promise that you're going to give. So for example, if it's a soft drink, is it going to be the most delicious soft drink you're ever gonna drink, or is it going to be the smoothest mixer you're ever going to drink? Those are the terminologies that probably an alcoholic brand is likely to use. So what is your promise? Promise us one clear promise that supersedes every other promise. So how I normally do this is, with every brand and product that I'm trying to sell, I normally write down, what promise can I give for this particular product or brand of product for this particular business? What does it promise to give? Then pick 2 or 1 universal promise that it's likely to fulfill and stick with it. Number 3, the brand image. Every advertisement should contribute to the complex symbol, which is the brand image. So when you're creating your brand elements, there's a reason why it has to be standardized across all your marketing campaigns. So if the logo has to appear in a certain way, let it appear every single time. If your brand patterns need to always be consistent in your advertisement, then let it appear. So brand image is very, very key, and it contributes to now the whole complexity of building your brand. Number 4, the big idea. Unless your advertising is built on a big idea, it will pass like a ship in the night. So what is this big idea that we are trying to sell this particular product? After positioning, after understanding the promise, after fulfilling your brand guides and your element, what is the big idea behind this advertising? And the big idea is actually what propels a campaign forward. Nowadays, the way with which people normally contribute to their big idea is they pick the campaign title. Number 5, a first class ticket. It pays to give a consumer a first class ticket, both in copy and illustration. So what it basically means as a first class ticket is you want to take your consumer in a way that they understand what adventure it is that, and this ticket, it can be either in copy or illustration. Copy in the sense that whatever you're writing to describe your advertisement, that is how you're giving them a first class ticket to experience this advertisement. Another thing could be illustration, or photos that you're using to illustrate your advertisement. With nowadays animation, videography, copy, illustration, and nowadays it could be content or video. Number 6, don't be a bore. You cannot bore people into buying your product. You can only interest them into buying it. So don't give people 1,001 USPs. Buy this product because you are going to benefit 1,001 things. Sometimes that is just doing too much. So don't bore people into buying your product. Excite them, entice them, persuade them, and you do this through language, through illustration, and giving them a clear picture of what they are going to experience when they have. Number 7, innovate, start trends, and don't follow them. So start trends, don't follow them. This is very, very true, especially in today's day and era, where I'm seeing so many businesses keep getting it wrong, blend into the trends of TikTok trends, like for example doing dances and all that. Like, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's good to look at, but at the end of the day, if you're not an innovator, what that basically means is your next marketing video or your next TikTok video is based on the next dance that is going to come out. So always, as businesses, try to innovate your own trends so that they stand the test of time. If people can be like, oh, this trend came from brand X, Y, and Z, that is more pertinent than a brand that is constantly following the trends and therefore they just disappear with the noise. So always attempt to be an innovator and not a follower. Number 8, psychological segmentation. Any good agency knows how to segment market psychographically. Segmentation is very key, and you arrive at segmentation when you understand where exactly it is, how exactly it is you're positioning your product, and the promise that you're giving this product, right? So if you're able to segment, then you're able to clearly state what this product is going to do and to whom this product is going to do that big idea to. And if that does not come clearly, what tends to happen is you have a mix of so many audiences that you're trying to sell to at the same time. But if you're able to smartly segment your audiences, then you can sell to different markets at different time, and therefore consistently having flow of business and buyers every single time. So have that in mind. Number 9, don't bury news. If you have something important to say, shout it. So if a new product is coming out, if you have come up with a new formula for a particular skincare brand, if you any new news that is happening, shout about it. It is an opportunity to sell yourself. It is an opportunity for the public to be aware of that beautiful thing that you're doing. Always shout about news. Number 10, go the whole hog. Don't be afraid to give the consumer all the facts. So if you have a product that requires a lot of persuasion, always give the consumers facts that they're going to use in order to give them that final push to actually purchase the product. And this does not only have to be industrial or B2B type of product. It could be electronic. So for example, if you're selling things like washing machine, of course a customer would require a lot more facts than if you are selling something like a blow dryer, So always have that in mind. Number 11, testimonials. Avoid irrelevant celebrities. So and this is starting also to become true. Nowadays, we are seeing many brands are avoiding influencers because they feel like, okay, they're just going to say nice things because they're being paid. So if you are able to get testimonials from actual people who have experienced your product, the weight of it is going to be more paramount than just a celebrity saying, okay, I endorse this product, okay? Although there are some instances where celebrity endorsement could be a big push for your brand, but majority of the time, especially if you're a small business or or if you're a medium SME, having that opportunity of having real life customers shouting positive things about you is very important. Number 12, don't use tricky layouts. Readers don't read ads which look like puzzles. That is another thing. Always work with graphic designers who are experienced and they understand that people don't read, people scan through. So when they do layouts, it could either be divided into two, it could be an F, it could be, they understand all these layouts. So work with graphic designers who understand layouts on how to properly put in the content in your flyers, because people are scanning, people are not reading. If you are an inexperienced graphic designer and you're just a solo entrepreneur, it will be very important to learn layouts or just find creators who are experienced graphic designers that understand layout, and then you can either purchase those templates from them and continue curating your own advertisement. Number 13, photographs sell more than drawings. In short, if you want to get many people to really relate to and buy into your idea, use a lot of photographs. And that's why photography and photo shoots are very important, even in the day of AI where many people just want prompts to ChatGPT to generate images for them. If you still have authentic, real human beings in your photographs, it actually comes out and it's likely to do way more than just drawing, because at the end of the day, GPT will give you even photorealistic generation or other AI channels, but to get that human feel, you really, really need to invest in good photos. Number 14, headlines. On average, 5 times as many people read headline as they read the copy. So even in news, people are likely to just brush through the headline, and if you're not an ardent reader, you're just going to be satisfied with whatever was said on the headlines and rather not the copy. So the headline has to be direct, it has to give a promise right away, it has to say exactly what you're trying to sell immediately. Number 15, story appeal in pictures. Ogilvy and Martha has found that the more of a story you can tell in your picture, the more people are likely to look in your ad. So don't bore people with just stock images of a model just smiling and that's it, thinking that is going to sell your products faster. So really think through the story that you're trying to tell with these pictures, and that can only be done with experienced photographers who understand how to set a scene with models, and if you don't have that kind of budget, teach yourself that, right? That's why there's so many angles into producing long-lasting advertisements that will print you money over and over, rather than just things that are you're going to be a hard worker with no substantial output, because your pictures just don't tell a story. They're just flat, they're just illustrations, and that's it. Number 16, repeat your winners. When you have a successful ad, runs until it stops pulling. And that's why I always tell people who I work with, especially the business owners who work with VP Creations, it's not a matter of filling your timeline or your social media channels with like a lot of content. You'd rather just have one good video that clearly illustrates and talk about whatever your promise or whatever the event is going to be about, and run it for a long time, to the point that 3 people can even say the exact same opening line of your copy, right? And that is what makes longevity of videos that are properly well done, as opposed to just things you whip out your phone and you want to take boring videos that nobody even identifies with. So at the end of the day, you'd rather invest in good videos, minimal good videos, than a lot of garbage that is just going to exist in the internet for a long period of time. So run that ad. When you make a good TVC or a good advertisement, run it until the point that it's no longer pulling that 100 leads a day. Number 17, avoid negative advertisement. Always sell what your product does, not what it does not. Number 18, use news. A new product or improvement is a news, and treat it as such. I think I've already used this example. So at any point you do something to your product, always announce it. As small as it is, it's always a good opportunity for you to remind your customers about it. Number 19, don't use loud and irrelevant slogans. There has been a sudden rise taglines that surely if you're selling, this is not for the non-Kenyans, but if you're selling smoky pasua, why do you have such an elaborate slogan for your business? People know that is not true. Like, make sure that you don't have irrelevant slogans. And sometimes if you're like a retail business whose work is to just import things from China and sell them, you don't need an overcomplicated slogan or corporates use. You don't need that. You just need a simple name, three colors maximum for your business, and maybe just in one paragraph what you bring from China, and that is basically it. Don't overcomplicate it. Number 20, don't write essays. The average family reads only 14 words of an ad. So even right now, that is very, very informative as to why we have very few characters, or rather you're advised to have very few characters on your advertisement or on your flyers or whatever material. And this is what majority of inexperienced people who are maybe managers and decision makers in businesses don't get it. Is the fact that they like overloading a flyer with so much information. We don't need that. Sometimes we just need 14 words of an ad flat on a flyer that is able to describe so many things, and the 14 words is not including the headlines. So if we are able to just describe exactly what it is we are offering, you see the way it can be easy to do so with 14 words, but it can be such a pain if you want to describe 50 promises, 50 USPs, more than 5 big ideas within the same ad. That is just not gonna fly. Number 21, visuals. The more visual impact, the better your ad will work. So if you have very strong visuals that are able to describe exactly what you do and how you do it, then the better for everyone. So have visuals that actually work. And that's why we keep on emphasizing that photography that is well done, scenes that are well set, are likely to do more than just basic boring things. Number 22, avoid corny copy. So whatever copy that you're going to write, don't try to be an entertainer here every single time. Try as much as possible to communicate what exactly it is your product and your service does, and you can use the gift of the gab to describe it better. Not good to strike that emotion of happiness, but you can do so even without trying to be funny. Number 23, don't talk down to your prospects. Always try and build them up, and that's why positivity is likely to sell a lot more than negativity. And sometimes marketers get it all wrong because they want to drive controversy or to start the pod and to get people talking about their billboard. Number 24, don't use puffery language, self-explanatory. Number 25, headlines again. The average headline length should be 10 words. So 10 words on the headline, 14 words is like the sweet spot for your copy on an ad itself. Number 26, avoid analogies. Stop trying to this thing of trying to now showcase your over creative. It can really ruin a product, but you can enhance your copy with now creativity after you've been able to clearly understand and articulate. Number 27, don't be obscure, self-explanatory again. Number 28, don't use technical jargon. Try as much as possible to use the everyday English language if you're able to, or your everyday whatever language you speak over there. Even when you're selling the most complex product or the most complex financial application that it is out there, and you're trying to sell that application to an everyday person who is starting a business. Number 29, don't show your product without showing it in use. So when you're thinking about what kind of product are you going to be putting on your different sites, on your flyers, on your marketing collateral, always use the kind of images that you show your product in use. So for example, if it's a washing machine, try and get pictures of the washing machine in action. If you're selling an iron or a steamer, try and get action shots of people using the product. It really just sticks in terms of collective memory, and always show your product in use as much as possible. Number 30, always name the brand. That's why even in makeup, foundation, or what is it called? Yeah, even foundations, they have their own titles like almond or chestnut. So it's very important, even to the little things, always name your brands is very important. Number 31, don't write copy in first person. That is very explanatory. 32, use consumer language. And if you really want to understand consumer language, don't give your product team to describe a product for you. And that's why focus groups are always so important. Sometimes when new technology technology is coming up and you're like, old methods are outdated. But imagine this, you are able to get a focus group together into your HQ headquarters, get 10-50 people from out the street, give them a product and tell them to describe this product, and just record the everyday language that people are using to describe the product, and use that to influence now your final output. And sometimes even competitors find that when you are trying to launch a new product, people associate that product with a different brand name. So for example, here in my country, Omo, which is not a home-based brand, but people know Omo as a washing detergent. And so if someone was to describe now another brand, let's say like Sunlight, and they were to go to the shops, what we call dukas here in Kenya, somebody will be like, give me the Omo for Sunlight. And that's why it's very, very important to have focus group and really understand how people interact with their everyday language. Number 33, use testimonials again and again. If you are able to get video testimonials, even stronger. Number 34, don't rely on humor to sell your product, but rely on real language to get people to be persuaded to buy your product. Number 35, repeat your theme. If a theme is able to sell your product, then repeat it until it doesn't sell anymore. Number 36, don't promise more than you can deliver. Number 37, write for your customer. Always write for your customer. Whatever illustration you're doing, you're illustrating for your customer. So this thing of your personal tastes and preferences are not the tastes and preferences of the consumers. And if you want to, and even if you're a graphic designer, this is also like a very humbling thing of understanding that your tastes and preferences are not the tastes and preferences of the potential customers of the people you're working for. So, and lastly, don't be afraid to be different. So different can be good, different can make you stand out, different can be that thing that gets people to talk about your brand over and over again. Salespeople, ideally, their target is very, very simple. Close the leads. Simple, close the leads. And sometimes they use superpowers to attempt and close the leads because commissions are on the line. So what normally tends to happen is they're promising more than whatever the product can actually deliver. And in turn, what tends to happen is you're having many unhappy customers, not because the product is bad. It's because this product is not this super machine that sales promised them it was going to do. So if you are arguing with me, just Google that and find out why it's never a good idea of marketing to report to sales, and even marketing to report to sales, because it doesn't go like that. It goes top down, whatever. Go figure that out. So don't promise more that you can deliver. You'd rather be undersell yourself, so that when somebody buys the product, they're like, oh wow, it even over delivers. You'd rather have an over delivering problem than under delivering problem. Number 37, write for your customer. Always write for your customer. Whatever you're thinking is you're writing for your customer. Whatever illustration you're doing, you're illustrating for your customer. So this thing of I am a founder and I like color pink. Look, listen, it's good that you like color pink, okay? But maybe consumers don't identify with that. Like, your personal tastes and preferences are not the tastes and preferences of the consumers. And if you want to rub it into consumers' throat, you can also do that. It's a free country. It's a free will. Do it whatever you want. But always, always, always realize that your tastes and preferences are not the tastes and preferences of consumers. Sometimes you might be there thinking that, oh, wow, this flyer does not have the sophisticated stylistic devices that needs to be overloaded on the flyer. And sometimes it's just a white paper that gets the job done. White paper with common shapes that is able to get the job done. So this is just maybe like an advice to maybe founder-led businesses or corporations, is the fact that always humble yourself and remember that your taste and preferences are not the end all be all. And even if you're a graphic designer, this is also like a very humbling thing of understanding that your tastes and preferences are not the taste and preferences of the potential customers of the people you're working for. So always have that humility to be able to bend into whatever brand that your customer is trying to get at for their customers. And lastly, don't be afraid to be different. So different can be good, different can make you stand out, different can be that thing that gets people to talk about your brand over and over again. So always try to find a way in which you can differentiate yourself. Wow, that was such a long article. So this is my interpretation for the article. It's a long one, but it was packed with a lot of value. So when Ogilvy wrote this article, it was way back in 1960s, and the advertising world has been dominated by print and TV and radio, but the fundamentals still hold even today in 2025. And here is how they map out our current marketing landscape. Number one, positioning is still king. In digital advertisement, this translates to your unique selling proposition and keyword targeting. If you are in Kenya selling eco-friendly water bottles, position yourself clearly. The leak-proof reusable bottle that keeps water cold all day can be a nice way to capture that. Number two, the big promise now equals your hook in the first 3 seconds. On TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, on Meta ads, you need to grab the attention immediately with the most valuable promise. So now the promise is now in the form of hook. Number three, brand image is everywhere. On your Instagram, it's your visual identity. On LinkedIn, it's your thought leadership. Consistency across all channel helps build recall. So don't be that brand who just wants to have 1,000 posts on Instagram just to seem busy. Nobody cares about that. In fact, it's just gonna fall flat, because who's gonna scroll through all that? No one. Again, visuals still. Big ideas in 2025 often start as content. So think of the Safaricom to Inuane campaign. Storytelling with emotional pull that transcends just selling a product. So the big idea, and that's why I said big idea nowadays translates to the campaign title. Visuals still sell. On Meta and Google Display, high quality photography outperforms generic stock. Locally fashioned brands in Nairobi using authentic street photography get more engagement than polished studio shots. So be as authentic as possible. Go to the local, get the local feel into your visuals as much as possible. Reputation is retargeting. So Ogilvy, repeat your winners, now translate into reusing high-performing creatives in Facebook, remarketing on Google Display, retargeting. So if you find something that ticks, keep to it until it no longer produces results for you. Avoid puffery. Consumers can fact check in seconds, right? Authenticity wins. Show proof. Customer reviews, demo videos, influencer try-ons are very much important. So if you think you can puff up your copy and your things like that, people can actually go and check. So if you claim like, let's say almonds cure X, Y, and Z, people will go and fact check that. You're now dealing with an audience that has technology and research power at their fingertips, and in seconds, they're able to debunk if whatever you're selling is real or fake. Testimonials still work. In Kenya, this could be video reviews from trusted personalities, but relevance is very key. So don't use celebrity just because they're famous. Use people who are likely to identify with whatever product you're selling. Headlines are now your ad copy and thumbnail combo. On YouTube, pre-rolls, the thumbnail is your headline, your visual partner. And lastly, be trustworthy. New product drops, limited time offers, or feature launches work well in email subject lines and WhatsApp business broadcast, and be very, very much newsworthy. Well, today we revisited a classic, Ogilvy's 38 rules for creating advertising that sells. Even decades later, the principles still guide how we position, promise, and present our products. Whether you're running a global campaigns or retargeting your local Nairobi audience, the rules are the same. Clarity, creativity, and customer focus win every time. This episode has been episode 4 of AdLabs, where the science of selling meets the art of advertising. My name is Vera Phoebe. It has been such a pleasure recording this with you. Until next time, bye.